Commemorating 70 years, this is News 13 at 6.
Good evening, I'm Justin Berger. Right now at 6, we're continuing to update you on the impacts left by Helene. Buncombe County officials have confirmed there are multiple fatalities in the county following this storm. We're working to learn more. In this video shot by our News 13 drone, you can see some of the damage left behind by this strong system. This shows flooding in the Asheville area from earlier today. We also want to show you some drone footage that News 13 viewer Tate McQueen captured. This shows Swannanoa River flooding near the WNC Nature Center in Buncombe County. You can see the damage left by the high waters after Helene and just how much the area was devastated here by this flooding. We want to take you outside to a live look at Asheville, where conditions look calm, but it's still important you stay inside if possible. We want to remind you that the city of Asheville is under a curfew from 7:30 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. until further notice. Many other towns are doing the same. Also, APD is at full patrolling staff. Additionally, federal and NC state agents are assisting with security and other local law enforcement agency needs. Officials say if you have an emergency, you can text 911. All flights are officially canceled for the remainder of the day at Asheville Regional Airport. The airport posted an update on Facebook earlier this afternoon. Officials say that the widespread connectivity failures in our region have impacted the airport, and they expect cancellations to continue. The airport just announcing Delta has canceled all flights before noon tomorrow. Again, Delta canceling all flights before noon tomorrow. They urge people to please check with your airline for the most up-to-date information about your flight status before coming to the airport. Because of internet issues in the region, the airport's website is not updating regularly at this time. The damage done from Tropical Storm Helene continues here in Asheville. You can see just some of this flooding from this drone video our news crews captured earlier today. News 13's Taylor Thompson spent the day surveying the damage and reports on the latest of what our area is seeing.
You guys, we are out here on Hendersonville Road, where crews have actually shut down a portion of the road due to what you can see behind me here of these down power lines, and right over here with these down trees. There is so much debris here, and unfortunately, this is the state of many roads here in our area. Driving through the city, you can see down trees and power lines everywhere you turn, causing a lot of traffic buildup. But on the other side of the city, in the River Arts District, there is complete devastation, with so much of the area just covered in water. We spoke with one resident, Roy Harris, who's lived right up the hill off of Depot Street for the last 35 years.
I've never seen it this bad. And in fact, I walk in this area all the time, and there's a bridge right there, which is covered up.
Harris says that 30 years ago, there wasn't much in the River Arts District, but that's far from the case now, which makes this flooding just devastating for their area. Adding that he feels for the community and the rebuilding that's ahead. And crews will be out for the next several days working to restore utilities all throughout our county. And as a reminder, if you do see any downed power lines or downed trees like the ones here on Hendersonville Road, do not attempt to drive through them. In Asheville, I'm Taylor Thompson, News 13.
The city of Asheville has sent out an update regarding the water situation. Many residents are asking, when will service be restored? Officials say water resources cannot perform a full damage assessment until conditions improve and crews are able to assess water lines. They say if customers do have running water, they should fill bathtubs and other available containers in preparation for loss of service. Please remember, a boil water advisory remains in effect for customers who have water. Make sure to boil water for 1 minute. So what should you do if you need water? The State Emergency Operations Center is sending portable water to Asheville. Designated distribution points will be established, and a distribution system is currently being put in place. We will share more information as soon as it becomes available. In their afternoon briefing, one Buncombe County official called this Buncombe County's Hurricane Katrina. As we mentioned earlier, the county is confirming that there have been multiple fatalities here following Hurricane Helene. We have several other updates from Buncombe County and the city of Asheville. The WNC Ag Center is at capacity as a shelter. AB Tech's Asheville campus is opening up for people without pets. It can hold about 300 to 500 people, the county estimates. They are currently working with Waste Pro to see what trash collection looks like in the future. I-26 is open to get into South Carolina, and it remains the only access point in and out of the mountains. County officials say cell phone providers estimate it will be several days before service is restored, but the county is exploring setting up a temporary communication center so people can call loved ones.
We have biblical devastation through the county. We've had biblical flooding here, and it has been extremely significant.
Chief of Police Mike Lamb says there have been arrests made for looting, and they are currently working on a running list of 60 unaccounted people in the city. We know many people are looking for help finding and connecting with their loved ones because of the cell service issues. So the Buncombe County Register of Deeds has developed a web-based form to assist those people. Anyone inside or outside of Buncombe County can use this resource to let the county know about someone who they think is missing or who cannot be reached. We will have a link to this form on our website where you can directly enter the information about the person you are looking for. And we want to let everyone know that Buncombe County schools will be closed Monday and Tuesday. Both days are annual leave days for staff. Water levels are no longer the big thing to look out for. It's what Helene left behind. Friday, hundreds were stranded in Henderson County. News 13's Ed Diorio was there and spoke with people who saw the flooding ruin many of their personal items.
After the water subsides, what is left on the roads is similar to what's behind me. I'm on a back road in eastern Henderson County, and what we've been seeing all day on Saturday now that Helene has come and gone are trees not only down but blocking parts of the road. On this one specifically, this one is giving just enough room on one side for traffic to get through, but it's coming from both directions, both north and south, east and west on streets all over Henderson County and beyond in western North Carolina. Drivers, you got to take it slow around bends because you never know if someone's coming around the other side in the same lane.
Friday, the concern for residents in Henderson County was the water levels.
The water came up all the way above my wife's SUV, all the way above it.
Daniel Martindale saw this outside his porch in one Hendersonville community. People being rescued by their neighbors and others. The water has subsided, and now it's about the cleanup. Daniel, his wife, and many others left cleaning out their belongings of what's left. As of Saturday morning, nearly 70,000 people were without power, according to Duke Energy. On the roads, still thousands of trees fallen across the area and power lines as well. Some power lines being held up by the fallen trees.
Never saw any flooding like this. This is the worst flooding I'd ever seen from any hurricane I'd actually been in. I've seen a lot of devastation in Florida from the hurricanes over the years, decades. Never saw any flooding like this.
The good news is that in our travels on Saturday, seeing trees down like this, there were many not only first response crews, but just everyday people bringing out their tools, their chainsaws, whatever they could to cut these trees down, get them out of the roadway, and just make things easier for drivers. So that progress is underway. We're going to keep you up to date with traffic and outage numbers from Duke Energy on air and online at WLOS.com. In Henderson County, Ed Diorio, News 13.
Representative Chuck Edwards released a statement earlier today addressing the heavy damage seen across the mountains. In it, he addressed some of the biggest challenges currently facing the 11th district. He's also highlighting resources like shelters throughout the area, which you can find on our website, WLOS.com. He will continue to send updates. Senator Ted Budd also released a statement today. He says that he's talked with FEMA, the state's emergency management, and more about setting up recovery resources throughout the state. He also thanks the National Guard, the Red Cross, and emergency personnel for their responses. Floodwaters are now receding across the mountains. Our chief meteorologist, Jason Boyer, has been tracking the latest developments across western North Carolina. Jason, it's still dangerous out there on the road.
It very much is. You said it, and utter devastation in so many areas. So let's start with some good news. The good news is the Pigeon River in Canton is no longer flooding there. It's below flood stage after a record crest of nearly 26 feet at 11:30 in the morning yesterday. That is now below flood stage. The French Broad in Marshall is falling quickly too. It is down into only moderate flood stage. It was in major flood stage with a near record crest yesterday around 8 o'clock in the evening. French Broad in Hot Springs, only minor flooding there, and it's continuing to fall. It will be below flood stage tonight. The Linville River in Nebo, though, that is still under major flood stage, and it's falling. It had a crest of 30 feet 4 o'clock this morning, but that's causing some major flooding out there into Burke County as well. Watch out for these. Fletcher, Blantyre, Asheville. We still have moderate to major flooding on the French Broad. French Broad and Fletcher had a record crest of 30.3 feet, 8 o'clock yesterday. It won't fall below flood stage until 8 o'clock Monday morning. The French Broad and Blantyre won't fall below flood stage until 8 p.m. Monday. And then the French Broad in Asheville is expected to fall below flood stage by later tomorrow evening, but it had a record crest of almost 25 feet at 6 o'clock yesterday. Currently only moderate flood stage, but that's still flooding, folks. Stay away from it. Swannanoa in Biltmore Village is in minor flood stage after a record crest yesterday. That river usually falls much more swiftly than others. That's why it's already down there. No rain to be found unless it's a little bit of sprinkle activity. Nothing organized here. We still have post-tropical cyclone Helene, the latest advisory and almost the last advisory really for this system as it spins over areas of western Kentucky. But you see the path I've put on there, the historic path, and that puts it right through the mountains of western North Carolina and the upstate as well. Thus, we had so much impact. All right, storm reports still coming in, but a lot of flood reports, obviously. More wind damage reports will be reported in the coming days. It's just hard to get any information because of the downed communication system, so that's the problem. Weather planner, obviously river flooding is ongoing in many places. Stay away from the water. Stay home if you can. Temperatures will hold in the 60s. We'll talk about how this setup resulted in such a disastrous storm in just a minute.
All right, Jason, thank you so much. There are still over 1 million people without power in the Carolinas. This is a look at the Duke outage map. In Buncombe County, over 97,000 customers are without power. There are still multiple trees down on top of power lines in our area, but Buncombe County officials do say outages are improving this evening. Residents all over Asheville are nervous. Thousands remain tonight without power, and there's anxiety building over basic supplies. News 13's Kimberly King is here tonight. And Kim, you came upon a scene this morning at a local Asheville gas station.
Justin, like many people across the area, I was up early around 7 a.m. I went driving around just to fill up my car, and this is what we found in Asheville. This is what unfolded on downtown Asheville's main road, Biltmore Avenue, at the Citgo, the only station we found in town with electricity. A line of drivers waiting, parked, one after the other to get gas. People worried want to fill up their cars, uncertain when power citywide will come back. The line of cars extending for more than a half mile. Michael Honeycutt got in to fill up.
Are you a tow driver?
No, I'm just a general contractor in the Asheville area, just trying to get through it. But been a little chaotic. People been breaking in line. Hopefully through manners we'll come back to them.
Tensions, he's right, got high over the chance to get to a pump. Asheville police here to make sure tempers don't get out of hand. A marked car parked for hours.
There's no other stations. I'm from Weaverville. All power is out there to my knowledge.
Power slowly in pockets of the city is being restored. But at this moment in Asheville, emergency rescue teams weave through traffic with rescue boats. EMTs and ambulances moving through a city that's been crippled without power. Inside, Heather Goforth works the register.
No, we were closed yesterday, but I opened up at 8 o'clock this morning. I've only had one problem since we opened, so.
What are mostly people coming in for?
Gas, ice, water, and cigarettes.
And booze?
Yeah, that too.
The one thing about this disaster that's happening here is it's bringing out one of two things in people. Either they are the kindest, most courteous people that you ever want to meet, or they're probably words that I should not be saying on TV.
As far as that kindness, we go back to Michael Honeycutt, who's helping a stranger.
My mom is in Southwest Virginia. She lives by herself on a farm, and I can't contact her.
You're worried about her?
This is such a scary time, and people like him really help you remember that there's kindness still and there's hope. Because he was so kind to me this morning, and
He's giving you some gas?
he's going to be responsible for me getting home. Yeah.
Kate driving with her dog Isabel. This gas secure for her, giving her peace of mind as she leaves Asheville for her mom's to make sure she's okay.
So Kim, clearly some good examples of kindness there, but people are stressed out.
Understandably so. And what I would say on a personal point is that without power, people do feel paralyzed. And so we feel your pain out there. I've gotten texts from friends who are like, we're stranded, we're without food. And so the only thing I would say is try to take it one day at a time and 1 hour at a time. And things are improving. We're seeing the power come back. And so hopefully in the next several days, at least we'll have power.
And we've noticed around the station as well, more gas stations opening.
Yes.
So hopefully some relief for some folks there.
Yeah.
Kim, thank you so much.
Sure.
Take a look at this backup. All of these cars and people also trying to fill their gas tanks due to the area-wide outages. This is the Marathon off Airport Road. It's right across the street from the WNC Ag Center, which we mentioned is an at-capacity shelter. Not only were cars backing up one lane of the road, but a line was wrapped around the building trying to pay for and get gas as well. More stations are slowly opening in the Asheville area, but be sure to take it slow and be careful if you find yourself near a busy gas station during this time. Crews are working around the clock across the region, clearing fallen trees and debris off of the roads. This was a video shot by one of our photographers in the Royal Pines area of Buncombe County, where you can see residents using chainsaws and a digging machine to clear a massive tree. Jason.
All right, Justin, thank you very much for that. Hey, take a look at the 3-day rainfall totals. Again, just want to recap this. If you haven't heard how much rain actually fell, we saw over 30 inches in Busick, the southern end of Yancey County, Little Switzerland, not far from there, over 2 feet of rain. The Broad River community, 22.5 inches. Cayuga, that's down in Henderson County, 22.3. Laurel Park, also near Hendersonville, almost 20 inches of rain fell. Saluda in Polk County picked up almost 20 inches. The Arboretum in areas of west and south of Asheville, 17.3. Hendersonville itself, 16.9. The airport, 14 inches. Cherokee out into areas west of Asheville, almost 11 inches. Clemson down in the upstate, over 10 inches. And Canton, very close, of course, to very historic flooding, 9 inches of rain at that location. But it shows you how the runoff from the higher elevations over Transylvania and Henderson County and even southern Haywood County really made a difference for the Pigeon River again this time. And all that runoff on the other side goes into the French Broad, and that's why the French Broad is so high. Still flash flood warnings ongoing here in areas of Burke County and portions of McDowell. We have flood warnings elsewhere. The river flood warnings, the entire French Broad River is under a river flood warning, so avoid that area as it remains at least moderate, if not major flood stage. Still flooding ongoing into areas like Greenville County as well along the Saluda River. Weather planner will take us down into the 60s and keep us there overnight, and we go back into the 70s tomorrow. There is a chance for some spotty showers, unfortunately, but nothing that's going to be concerning, nothing that will cause any concern for additional flooding. But rain, of course, is going to give people a lot of anxiety. I understand that, but there will be some showers possible late tonight and into tomorrow. Nothing widespread, but we could see them move into the French Broad River Valley around dawn and then spread east into areas that have been hit so hard from the flooding into the foothills around Lake Lure, Girton, Bat Cave, up into McDowell County and Yancey, even east into Rutherford County. We could still have some showers around in the early part of the day, and we might even fire off a few more later later on in the afternoon. Again, there will be that chance that some rain comes down, but not enough to cause concern for any additional flooding in most cases, unless there's a quick downburst of some rain that causes a brief pooling of the water. Of course, the ground is so saturated, it's not really going to absorb much. There we go. We could see about a tenth to a half an inch of rain, depending on where you are. Very little expected in Asheville, but you go west, you could see as much as a half an inch of rain. Let's go to the tropics. I wish I had better news here, but unfortunately, over the next 7 days, we got a 50% chance now of a tropical cyclone developing somewhere here off the Yucatan Peninsula or off the coast of Central America. Low pressure, likely a tropical depression by midweek, likely headed northwest into the Gulf of Mexico. That's obviously a concern for everybody in the south and including us, especially here in the mountains. Gradual development in the coming days of a tropical depression by midweek, also way out here in the Atlantic. Thankfully, this one is no threat to land. It will remain a water issue, a fish storm, as we say. We'll be going through time here to show you how this rain evolves, and possibly right there, this is a longer range computer model, shows where we might have a developing tropical cyclone again later next week. We'll be watching the Gulf very closely. Still a lot of uncertainty where it's going to go, folks. We just cannot say with any reasonable accuracy that it's going to come our way. We don't know that. It's a possibility it just stays down there and becomes more of an issue somewhere else. Temperatures in the 50s and 60s tonight. We're going into the 70s tomorrow for most of us. It will be a better day to dry out unless you're underneath some of the showers that develop later in the day. We got those showers around Sunday, even Monday, even Tuesday, but then it is a little drier into Wednesday before we do introduce the chance of rain again Thursday. We cool down. That's going to be a frontal system that moves through and drops our highs into those cooler lower 70s, if not upper 60s. In the upstate, at least you're favoring drier weather the next several days down there. No chance of rain and sunshine most days.
All right, Jason, thanks so much. That is it for this digital broadcast on the aftermath of Helene, but you can always stay on top of more updates at WLOS.com and on Facebook and X. We will also be on News 13 tonight at 10 and 11 for updates then. We'll see you there.